Howdy, howdy, howdy. I'm Johanna, aka the Power Queen, and today I'm going to show you how to automatically add a user to a SharePoint permissions group using Power Automate. The context that we'll use for today's example is someone wanting to be onboarded to a project and thus added to a SharePoint site and given the appropriate permissions. So firstly, we'll need said SharePoint site and we'll need to set up a permissions group. So if we go to Site Permissions and hit Advanced Permission Settings, we can then see the permission groups associated with this SharePoint site. Usually you will always have owners, members, and visitors. And I've also added SP test group for today's example. So if I click and open this test group, there's no one in there. I've also created a Microsoft form where users can request to be onboarded to that project and thus added to that SharePoint group. So let's get our Power Automate open. We are going to be using a automated cloud flow today because it will be triggered when a new response is submitted. So let's go there and we are going to give it the flow name. Let's just say add user to SharePoint group demo and hit create. As far as I know that you can use the new designer. I've not had any issues for this particular thing that we're going to do today. So we already have that instigator that we selected when we created the flow. So when a new response is submitted and we need to provide the form ID. So if you go to the drop down, it should give you all of the forms that you currently have created associated with your account. You can do the enter custom value if you can't find it here, but we won't be going through that today. I'm using the request project onboard, and that's the one I want. So I've selected that. Then the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to add get response details. So I've hit the add an action, get response details. So we want to actually get the answers that the user submitted. Let's get our form ID. So we are going to use, again, request project onboard, and the response ID, we can actually hit the lightning bolt because it's going to pull from our trigger, which is response ID, the unique identifier for that submission. All right, we're now going to add only one more step. So we're going to say send HTTP request to SharePoint. Now, I'll preface here, in most examples, when you're requesting to be onboarded to a project, there is an approval process. We're not covering that today, so this is assuming that anyone who requests will be given access. However, if you need to add an approval step, add an approval step. Pretty simple. All right, so let's select the site that I want to add this person to. I want to add them to my video demos site. That's just what I'm using today. We're also going to be posting. So the method will be post. And we're going to put in our URI. So for today's example, I might actually just copy it. I did prepare this earlier, so I'm just going to copy it because it is a bit, I don't want to say wordy, it's a bit more lettery, isn't it? So it's API/web/sitegroups in brackets for, which we will cover in a second what that means, /users. So essentially it's saying for the selected SharePoint site, I'm going to go to the site groups and I'm going to post whatever that person's email is to the SharePoint group ID for. Now, how exactly do I know what SharePoint ID I need to be using? Well, great question. We're going to go back to our SharePoint site. You can see that I'm in the SP test group. There's no one in here right now. But if I look at the URL up above here, I can see that the membership group ID equals 12. That's my magic number for today. So if I actually come over here, and currently it's at 4. I was just running some tests before with number 4, but we're going to try number 12 today for our custom group. You can, for example, see that if I go to video demos visitors, give it a second to load, you can see that that is membership ID 4. Similar for members, 5. So each permission group does have a different ID. So that's why that's important. Cool. All right, so we do need to add a few more things, but we can't see them. How do we see them? Let's hit show all. Awesome, so we have headers and we have body. So let's get to typing. We are going to type accept. And Again, it's getting a bit wordy. I'm just going to copy and paste from my prep. I will paste all the code that you need and where it needs to be placed in the description. So if you just want to copy and paste as well, you can go down there as well. So right now it's accept, and in the box next to it, we have application-json, semicolon, odata.metadata equals none. Awesome. Next one, the next header that we're going to say is content type. So content-type. And this one's a bit easier. I might just type it. It's application/JSON. Beautiful. So that's all I need to type there. And now one last thing for the body. And I'm actually, again, just going to copy it. So let's put that here. So this is basically the fancy way of saying what Microsoft account you want to push to that permission group. It's pretty much saying the login name, the membership, and it's identifying the membership as the email. So you can see Johanna Steryovsky at mspowerqueen.com. I'm going to backspace that out, and I'm going to use my lightning bolt and the email address. So not the responder's email address, because in this context, someone can request onboarding on behalf of someone else. So we want the email address that somebody did submit in the form. So I'm going to hit email address in here. So let's hit save. Let's go back to the dashboard for this, and we're going to go to employee name. We're going to put my email address, and we're going to put just some more random letters for the reason and hit submit. Let's go back to my board. Let's hit refresh. Succeeded 6 seconds ago. Beautiful. Looks like my email did go through there, and let's see if that worked. And there I am. Hopefully that was helpful. Like, share, subscribe. Okay, thanks, bye.